I'm getting married on June 24th, 10-person outdoor wedding. I'm so excited. I have a little secret though. I'm already married. It's not what you think. I'm married to a problem, and by the end of the talk, you might want to be married to a problem too. My courtship started as a bright lime shirt wearing volunteer in the rural Dominican Republic. As a 16-year-old, I traveled with a church's mission trip, building homes. We worked on a literal landfill, building simple cement homes for local families. I was hooked. For the next 2 years of high school, I went back and later was hired by the organization. I would go on to work in the Dominican with groups from all over the United States to build hundreds of homes in rural areas throughout the country. I was so blessed to have this opportunity. I never felt so alive, and my life had more meaning. My main responsibility was guiding volunteers and leading them on construction jobs. This might have been my first management job. On 100-degree days, it can be difficult to do manual labor, and you want everyone to feel part of the job. I prided myself on finding jobs even for the eldest of chaperones, like picking up nails or supplying the group with ice. I personally gained valuable skills, confidence, and leadership while making lifelong friends during this period in my life. 4 years later, I would receive an email that I was fired from the organization. I was heartbroken, embarrassed, and lost. All I wanted to do was help the rural communities in the Dominican. As I reflect back, I think I was let go because I was asking too many questions. You see, I went in with the assumption that building homes would help the communities get better, but I noticed that they were not. I kept pushing the organization with questions, but I did not have the expertise to change what I was seeing. I had the heart to make a difference, but I didn't know how to. Over the next several years, I struggled to find the same purpose I originally felt in the Dominican, but eventually started working in nonprofit management and entrepreneurship. I took the leap into graduate school in a unique dual degree program that combined business and education. Here I am, almost 10 years later, and today I serve as the director of an entrepreneurship program. As you might imagine, I have seen thousands of business pitch presentations, none more unusual than the ones during Shark Tank presentations. No, I'm not on the ABC show, the most watched program on Friday nights in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic. Shark Tank presentations in middle and high schools. And what I have found is that entrepreneurship is taught backwards. I love entrepreneurship. I believe entrepreneurs are superheroes, incredibly important to the world, and that entrepreneurial skills are lifelong and highly transferable. Entrepreneurs are not the problem, and Shark Tank does a great job getting people excited about it. The problem is that the Shark Tank mentality has us focused on the wrong thing, the solution. Of course, people want to hear about the solution. An app, how sexy. Think how many people it can reach. I mean, everyone has a smartphone. People love apps. Yet this approach results in education being too focused on the solution and not the problem. The biggest reason that entrepreneurs fail isn't they can't raise enough money or build the right team. It is that there is no market need. 42% of entrepreneurs fail because there is no market need. Not enough people care about the problem they are solving and willing to pay for it. If not enough people care about the problem, they aren't going to be interested enough in your solution. As an entrepreneur, you need to marry the problem and date the solution. I know this seems crazy, but this is the idea I am crazy about. Solutions come and go, problems stay the same, and you want to get to know everything about them. You want to spend time with the problem, investigate it, find out who cares about the problem the most, live with it, marry it, These are the most transferable skills from entrepreneurship. Digging into your problem and testing your assumptions. Assumptions, yes. I know the quote you are playing in your head. Assumptions make a blank out of you and me. Assumptions are important and something every student should learn about when studying entrepreneurship. Knowing how assumptions work in entrepreneurship is far, far more important than a mock Shark Tank presentation. When the amount of assumptions or guesses about your business go down, the value of your company goes up. Entrepreneurs want to spend as much time at the start validating or invalidating their key business assumptions. The most famous example is Zappos, which spent all their time validating the key assumption that people would be willing to buy shoes online. They didn't have an inventory and did not build out a full marketplace. They simply created a landing page and some ads. Once they validated that key assumption that people would entertain buying shoes online, they could go ahead with their business. They kept this assumption testing mindset and went on to learn that the problem with buying anything online is that people don't want to pay for what they return. These insights changed everything for them. Testing assumptions is a skill. If you don't know how to do it, you will end up asking ice cream questions and not really learning anything. Ice cream? Who is this guy? What's so bad about ice cream? Nothing. Everyone loves ice cream. So if you ask someone if they want ice cream, you aren't really learning anything. Let's take an example. Say you came up with an idea for shampoo to help your dog not smell bad. If you go around asking people if they didn't want their dog to smell bad, and they say yes, you aren't really learning anything. Of course, someone doesn't want their dog to smell bad. You are not learning anything new. You aren't testing your assumptions. Just because someone might verbally agree with your solution benefit doesn't mean that they care about the problem enough to seek out a solution. And yes, narrowing your problem and testing assumptions can be taught to students. Over the past 2 years, I've been leading a team to teach problem-based entrepreneurship throughout Camden, New Jersey, and here in Philadelphia. This past June, we worked with a group of high school students, JT, Logan, and Haley, who were passionate about the problem of food insecurity in their community. They were juniors. They had so many other things to worry about, but they saw how food insecurity, already a huge issue in the United States, was further amplified by the pandemic, and they heard that more people in their community were struggling. Now let's imagine for a second that they went through the Shark Tank style presentation of learning about entrepreneurship. They would have heard about the problem and started thinking and brainstorming about solutions, such as get students to donate more food, create an app to help prevent food waste, or open up another food bank. The students would have worked on their presentation and scoped out their ideas. They would have worked on designing what their solution might look like and talking to people who might want to use it. They probably would be using ice cream questions and getting positive feedback. Instead, we took what we call a problem-based entrepreneurship approach. We introduced them to a tool called the Problem Statement Canvas. You can use the canvas to narrow your problem down. We told them to divorce their solution idea and start testing their assumptions by talking to people. This was new for them. It was hard, pounding the pavement with their masks, making phone calls to strangers, investigating like they were a detective, not an entrepreneur. But guess what they found out? The problem wasn't the lack of food being available. It was the hours of availability on the local food banks and the bus times that the food was being delivered. That was the root problem. Because of the pandemic, people had less time to go out and get the food, and there was less volunteer support. So what the students did was work with the school to get volunteers to keep the hours at the food bank open longer so more people could get access to food. The solution came to them as they dug more into the problem. Today, almost a year later, they are making a real difference in their community because they married the problem. Can you see why I love this idea? Marry the problem and date the solution. My love for the rural communities in the Dominican Republic never waned. A group of friends and I were determined to make a difference, and 6 years ago created an organization, Ondawave. Literally, La Onda means ripple, and we wanted to build from the Dominican strength and perspective. We utilized the skills that we taught to entrepreneurs and found out that access was the problem these rural areas struggled with, not shelter. The community we partnered with, Angostura, is separated from the main road by 3 rivers. By marrying the problem of access, we were able to work together and build out a medical clinic in the community. And we're working with them to create jobs for the people in the community. Marrying the problem has given me the opportunity to create sustainable change in 2 places that I love, Philadelphia and the Dominican Republic. On June 24th, I'm so excited to get married. For real. And this time, it will be to the love of my life.